That's weird.
How did you get to be on Spotlight? Huh.
Oh, so we're streaming live on YouTube right now.
Yeah, I didn't know that we were on YouTube already. Now we are, yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Rita. Lovely Lady Rhea Sophia.
Hey. Oh, you're Michelle from Saturday night?
Okay, so welcome everybody to the Enchanted Cafe. And tonight's talk is going to be about reincarnation. So here we go. I'm on. Hello.
Yay.
Okay, everyone.
Yay.
Tonight's show is about reincarnation. And I'm going to be doing readings at the end of the show. But first, I want to talk to you about reincarnation in itself. This is not a regression. I'm not going to hypnotize you. I'm not going to tell you that you were Nefertiti or Cleopatra or Mark Antony or Caesar or any other famous human being. As a matter of fact, the fame, this is the thing about reincarnation, the fame of who you might have been is not as important as what you've done with it. Those are the things that work with reincarnation. So reincarnation is basis more.
Yeah. Oh, you're already on it.
Hello? Who's that?
Sorry, it was me. I was unmuted. It was Melissa.
Okay, Annie, we're live on YouTube, so can you just please? Thank you. So reincarnation has to do with how we're reborn and what we achieved. And there is even a period of time what we consider in the Christian faith purgatory, which is really a time of reflection. And I found it very interesting that certain cultures that may have never crossed paths all have this thing about the 40-day period of after death, that the person is in a state of where they're adjusting and or in reflection, or in what the Christians call purgatory. And the Buddhists call it bardo, where you're in the hell realm and you're looking at your life. You're looking at what you've done, what you've accomplished. You know, in alchemy, turning lead into gold was really spiritual keywords for saying Saturn is the lead, the dross in the body. And the gold is the purification of what we learn to become, what we learn to do with our lives. So reincarnation has a lot to do with that. Now, first, I'm going to talk to you also about the Buddhist belief in reincarnation. And they believe also that we can be reborn into animals. We have different ways of choosing our karma or our relations to others, to souls, because energy is life. Life is energy. So one of my favorite stories that the Bumpo told me about reincarnation was that there is a monk, a Lama Rinpoche, sitting in contemplation, and he is in the bardo. So he is looking in the hell realm, and he sees his peer, his friend, another monk, there, and looking to, feeling imbalanced to being out of the physical body. He's looking to jump back into another body right away. and the monk is with his friend, and he's telling his friend as a psychic message, don't do that yet. You know, you're not ready. And he sees the monk is feeling disoriented and looking for a physical body. And he sees this young girl coming along, and he is psychically, intuitively knows that she's fertile at that moment. And he said to her, would you come and lay down with me? I need to make a child. And she ran home to her mother and said, the priest, you know, said to me, lay down and make a child. And the mother said, there must, being a real Buddhist, there must have been a good reason for this. Go back and do what he asks. And the girl goes back, and she said, okay, you know, I'm ready to do as you asked. And he said, oh, it's okay. I don't need to do that anymore. There were two jackasses in the field mating, saying his friend jumped into the body of a jackass. Now, this, of course, is a made-up story. It's a made-up story to teach the philosophy of when you jump into the body too fast before your time, you make a fool out of yourself. So this is like the way certain tales are taught, so that we learn to understand that when we do cross over, before we reincarnate, we should take that rest period of time. Some people, some of us don't reincarnate for a millennium. Some, like my favorite book of reference about this and the afterlife is, again, and I always say it, Letters from the Light by Elsa Barker. It's well written, it's well documented. It's a documentation of a man who is crossed over, sees the opportunity of the veil was very thin at that time for spiritualists in the 1900s to come through and start communicating. It's like the universe is a giant clock, and it's ticking, and as it moves along, we're changing how we view things, how we see things, how we make things, how we do things. I mean, like, I'm still look at the pyramids and the technology, that how they built them, we still can't figure out. But yet we have computers in our hands every day, and we're very attached to them. 20 years ago, none of us were attached to these things. Look at how fast it escalated. So in reincarnation, though, it changes who we are over time of being reborn. So when that technology was there for, like, the Allan Kardec is another one. Anyone, there's the life of Allan Kardec, Kardec, is on Netflix. If you can find it, watch it. It's an amazing story about a man that brought spiritualism to the open. Then there were so many mediums also coming out at that time, and astrology also coming out at that time. So it was like the veil was open, and it's been getting wider and wider. And as the world shrinks, because we have more and more technology and computers, and we're in touch, and we're talking, and we're discovering, and we're learning, and we have planes that bring us here. It's no longer, you wanted to come from Tibet, you know what a boat travel that was. So the world is shrinking by planes, by transportation, by methods of virtual. Now anyone could go on Facebook anywhere in the world, see this, or go on YouTube later on and actually watch this live. It's live right now. So it's important to recognize that the more we learn, okay, about this inner workings and the workings of reincarnation, the more prepared we are when we do pass. We're all going to die. This is it, you know, and we're all going to come back. But how do we come back? Like, there was a dog that I got for my daughter, and I would swear it was a bodhisattva inside a dog's body by how it acted, by its soul communication. Some animals, you could tell they were human once before, that there's a soul communication. And I always felt like this bodhisattva would come back, so that may have been a soul connection to my daughter in another lifetime. So it came back as a dog, knowing it would be the only time it could have with her, to give her what she needed at in those years of her life. And his name was Bambi. It was a Sheltie Collie. Absolutely amazing how this dog and her interacted with one another. And we all have stories like that, of a special friend or a pet or something that just had. All right, here's another thing. I've been watching nature shows since Mutual of Omaha, back in the 50s and 60s. And never, and I really think if it had been, never did they show us the oddity of, say, an owl and a wolf hanging out together, or a duck and a dog, or a goat and a bobcat. I mean, like, we are seeing so many animals now, these photographs and videos and pictures of forever friends, and how this chimpanzee became friends with this elephant, and it's what keeps this elephant going. It's these types of relationships, we believe, are also reincarnation of souls that chose to come back as animals, knowing they would find one another. Soulmates don't have to be a sexual couple. A soulmate could be a very dear
Best
friend.
friends. Mhm.
How many times do we say, that's my brother from another mother? It's just amazing. When a sister from another family, that's my sister, that's my cousin. You're not related, but there's something in here that just goes click, and you know that you knew each other, that you found each other again. Now, what's important, though, is what I was talking about earlier, what we do with our goals. If we come back and we did anybody ever see the movie Michael, where John Travolta plays the angel Michael?
Oh,
Okay, so he comes back and he's fascinated with sugar. He's fascinated with sugar because it's an earthly thing, and he can only have it for that short period of time while he's on earth. So he wants to indulge in it, really get into that sugar, spoons and pies. And we can come back and have these goals set in our soul pattern, and it's up to us to achieve them, or we can get involved in earthly things that detract from that. And then when we get back to the other side and our actions are being weighed, they say, but you wasted this time, all on earthly delights, and you missed all of these opportunities. Wheel of rebirth, the wheel of cycle, go back and do it again. That's why I say to people, get it right this time. You want to come back and do this again, please? No. So we have to learn. This is where my past life readings have to do with tarot, and I'm looking at, what did we bring from the past? Are we accomplishing our goals at this time? What can we do to achieve those goals? What are we missing? Why is it sometimes you feel it's your goal and it's just a trial to achieve and accomplish what you want? We have to look back at the past mistakes, understand why we're not getting there, and why these are lessons we're learning. And astrology can tell you a world about all of this information. Rita's also an astrologer, Dee Dunkley. A lot of astrologers may be on here tonight, we'll all agree. We look at the 12th house, we look at our past life. What's in your 12th house? Is your 12th house empty? Of course, mine's not empty. I have 2 planets in there. 3? Yeah, 3 planets. I have the sun and Venus and Mercury in there, which is common because Venus and Mercury are very close to the sun when you're born. So the odds of them being linked together is not unusual. They're usually a planet, a sign ahead or behind. So I have Sun in Leo, but I have Venus and Mercury in Virgo. But they're all in the 12th house. Really, for a 12th house Leo, I shouldn't even be this public because that means that you retreat. And lessons that I had to come back and finish. It would have to do with religion. So I might have failed people. And see, you got to look at things, look at yourself. I might have failed you people in another lifetime. And if I'm accomplishing my goals, that means I came back to fix what I didn't do the last time. That's 12th house actions, house of undoings. So I'm undoing whatever mistakes I made in another life, in this life. For me, it turned out to be religious teaching. I may have believed in all of this, who knows? And then when it came time to torture, I said, oh, no, I'm not a witch. You know, well, I don't know. I'm making this up. You know what? I'm not doing past life regressions. I'm not going to bring you back to where you were a housewife on the prairie or, you know, a Roman soldier or a simple country person. But, you know, there is a book called The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. And well written, Mitch Albom. And it shows you how we all are very important. This man was a janitor and felt he affected no one's life. So how we affect one another's life, that's the Saturn, the lead turned into gold, the sun. The real gold is when our soul becomes illuminated. Our soul becomes open, heartfelt, loving, magnanimous, of golden heart, of giving and caring about others. And you know, it's a very interesting topic that I chose for tonight because it's Maundy Thursday. And Easter is all about reincarnation. It's about the resurrection. It's about the life coming after death. Winter is death. Easter, spring, is the resurrection of life. So even in the mythos of the Christ, where he is being resurrected, he also resurrected Lazarus. You know, he brought him from the dead. Resurrection stories are all over the place. All over the world, there's some story about a resurrection. But we see resurrection in the earth every spring when it's blooming, coming back. We hail the pagans. We hail Persephone for her return, for her incarnation. So reincarnation means to incarnate again and again and again and again. And I have to tell you, I'm amazed at the technology today. Look at this. I'm sitting here in front of a little camera phone and I'm talking to all of you people. And still, I've never seen a greater magic than watching the earth bloom again. That's a magic. I don't care how much science We look at, we germinate, we try, we do, we create new blends of flowers, of roses, but there is no magic greater than that it does it, whether it has our assistance or not. I don't care how much technology we create. There's nothing like the magic of life and living and the beauty of a sunset, of a dawn. You know, these are the gifts of having physical life, the physical body, to eat that sugar, to have that high, to have that happy time, to have a good laugh. These physical attributes are what make us come back and suffer. All sentient beings, all people are born to suffer. We are really here learning for the other side, to keep us growing, to keep spiritual growth, to continue on. And so reincarnation is really based on our souls coming back again and again and again. And sometimes, like I said, we choose the animal realm. You know, we may even choose a mineral realm. We may decide to live inside of a crystal for the making of it for thousands of years, and then emerge as a crystal and have all these great teachings that we're giving out to the universe. We might reincarnate into other realms, other worlds that we don't know right now, or we're zensed to. But when we do Buddhist practice, like praying to Yeshiwomo, "O Mother of all the Buddhas of the three times," is the first line of her prayer. Mother of all the Buddhas of the three times. So they're talking about different realms of life source in other galaxies that actually we are considered here star seed transmissions, meaning we were planted here. And so that allowed our souls to keep recycling into these earthly bodies so that we can learn, attain, and bring back to the other realms. And then we learn and attain, and then there are other realms. So reincarnation is really all about what our souls learn and what we do with it and how we accomplish our goals. So if your goal in this life was to be a nurse, okay, and you came back and you accomplished that and you did the best nursing that you can, and you used the best, and you kept learning, you kept going on for training, you kept your license alive, and now you're an older person and you're retired, and there are other nurses that come and they respect you and they take care of you, and you pass. And when you go on into the next realm, you find out how really important those intricate relationships were. How that one person you took care of so well went home and was able to accomplish great things amongst their family that made the heavens cheer. Because when we do great things on earth, okay, the spiritual realms, they cheer, they're happy, they're in joy of what we're doing here when it's good things. They cry. They're angels that actually weep with you when you weep. And it's not good to do that. To weep too much means that you're making these angel angst, these entities, these spiritual beings, you're making them drain of energy, and it's not good. They're there to weep with you, so to make you feel you're never alone. So there are actually beings that do mourn with you, and after a time you need to stop and let them rest, and you rest, and then they'll go on and they'll mourn with another being, and then they'll stop and they'll rest. And it's there are different levels of masters and guides in the outer spaces, heavens, summerlands, other dimensions. They don't require a physical body, but it's there. And they even say in the heaven that we go to, the space for us, people can dress in different period of costume that they lived on in the earth, or that they fancied a period of time. I don't think we can go and reincarnate back in time, if anyone was wondering about that. I think we can only reincarnate into future lives. That's all I've ever learned. Some people think that it is possible to reincarnate back into, the Roman times, let's say. But it would constantly alter our world as we know it right now, like the butterfly effect. So if you reincarnated back into that time, it means you now upset generations ahead of other people. So that's why I don't believe that we can reincarnate backwards, only forwards, because the clock is always going around, never goes back, it goes around, cycles. So we've seen spirals throughout time of ancient art. So we recognize that spiral motion is very important. And it means we're all on a spiral journey, or the good red road, as the Native Americans call it, to where we're on the right path. So now, also again with the weighing of the souls, like they say with the good red road, are you on the right path? When we pass, in the Buddhist tradition, it's Yama, a deity named Yama, who counts your life with black stones and white stones. And every time she drops a black stone, it's saying something that you did do or didn't do, and that's negative. And every time she drops a white stone, it's something you did. And what you want to see when you're sitting in judgment is a larger pile of white than black. Okay. There's a movie called Fighting for Your Life. It's with Meryl Streep. And it shows you how they classify you in heaven when you die, and they have a reincarnation room so you could see what you did in other lives. And in the movie, they're showing you that this guy was a coward in his other lives. He or she died in a fire saving kids, so she's living in a grand mansion and he's living in a little cubby hole. He's like, how come I'm not in that nice house? And how come I'm not invited to these super parties? But they meet on a bus going into heaven. So there's been many stories told like this, where it's all about the greater good we did, the greater reward on the other side. The whole Christian faith is that we never get reincarnated, that we go into the heavenly kingdom and we sit there with the cherubim and the angels and all of the saints and all of the piety and all of the purity. And that left me to wonder about a question I had always burning inside of me. What if I find this boring? If I had to sit in heaven all day and listen to, I'm sure the cherubim voices are magnificent and they're high. And I know that they say the colors that come through the Christ is just absolutely amazing and beautiful and all of this. But I look at it and I'm like, but I think I would find this rather boring for me personally. Not that it's not a beautiful thing or a good thing, but it's not my thing. I want to see beautiful goddesses, floating through the ethers, with silk flowing around their bodies and, clear waters and colors and unicorns and fairies. And I want to see Jupiter laughing on his throne. And according to Elsa Barker in Letters from the Light, That is exactly what I will see, because that's what he was explaining. We all see what we believe in. He said they're all here, they're all just different mansions, different places. And the 12 houses of the zodiac are supposed to be the 12 mansions of heaven. So everything has everything connects. Everything has a connection here. So when we think about reincarnation, or when I think about past lives, I look at it as from a point of view of, what did we do in the last life? What did we carry into this one? Like Mozart, for instance. So what do you really think the odds are that these parents screwed one night and created a musical genius? Or how about he had spent many lifetimes developing music, and when he came back in this life as Mozart and playing piano fortes at age 3 for Queens, that he came back with all of this knowledge already here. We get, in every couple of generations, geniuses that just appear, and we take it like it was just a spark of a sperm and a seed, an egg, that made this genius? Or is it what the soul carried from the other life into this life, and what they're still bringing forth? That's how I see it. It's not a coincidence. It's not a little minor miracle. It's generations of cultivation of a soul that comes back and says, okay, I've finally accomplished all of my goals. It's like kind of like a Monopoly game. Who ends up with, Broadwalk? Okay, who ends up with the most houses and hotels, comes back and he has all of the glory and all the answers and all of his goals ready, her goals are ready to be accomplished. Some brilliance like Madame Curie, for instance, she didn't come back knowing the formula, but she came back knowing how to look for it. So she took all of those principles and we brought them back into this life. When I sat with Rinpoches, with Buddhist monks from Tibet, there was a time where we had the Jakar Bon Buddhist Center in the Bronx above Original Products. So, I was quite an oddity on Fordham. There was a witch in a Botanica with a Buddhist center upstairs, a pagan center upstairs where we had these big pagan events. And next door to that room, I had all these Buddhist monks running around in their red and saffron robes, flapping their things over and loving the herbs. They loved the herbs. And they would come and they would do rituals and practices in the Jakar Bon Buddhist Center. And so one day they came and they were watching me glitter a candle. And I felt kind of like, oh my God, here is this brilliant master who spent 16 years in Tibetan study to become a Rinpoche. And here I am sitting here with these fancy colored glitters, tapping them onto wax. And I felt kind of like, I don't know, odd, like they must think this is silly, childish. And they're watching me, they're sitting there very quiet, just watching. And at the end I said, I know it's glitter Rinpoche, but it's colorful art, people, it's my magic, it's how I do this. And he smiled and he said to me, you were definitely a Buddhist in your last life. And I said, oh, thank you, Tashi Delik, thank you for the blessing. And he said to me, you see, that's how we do sand mandala. The same principle you're using, we use in doing colored sand art. And what you're doing is a past life memory. You brought that into this life and you shared it with many. This is a good thing. Goals. Do we accomplish our goals? They're important. So this is why I'm talking about reincarnation tonight. Did Jonathan get in the room tonight? Annie, can you hear me?
Sorry, I was muted. I'm looking now.
Don't see him.
I don't see him unless he's under like iPhone or something.
Okay, and is Daisy here?
Daisy's here.
Daisy, you want to come on now and say hello?
Hello.
Hi, Daisy.
Hi. How are you? Hi,
Oh,
everyone.
you look beautiful. So, well, I know I've been rambling on and on, and you know, Mama. She goes on and on and on. You look stunning. So tell me, what do you think? What have you learned about reincarnation that you feel in tune with now in your life where you didn't have it before? What brought you there?
Well, I'm new at this and I'm learning it day by day. For me, it's like it's something that you have to do all over again to try and fix where something went wrong, or you come into a different soul to find out what's your purpose, right? And there's always a reason why things happen, and it has something. A lot of things has to do with things that has happened in the past of your life, like let's say some things get passed on to your next generation, next generation, next generation. That sometimes has to do for me for the past lives.
So do you feel that we also choose, we're told we choose our family, our parents, and that we sometimes look for ones we had before. We try and find the same family, tribal grouping. So when you've sat down and you had like a misa with Jonathan, and your ancestors started speaking, and you learned things about your family and your ancestral work that you never knew.
Yeah, I'm learning all of that now.
Right. And he told you about it. So the ancestors also, before they reincarnate back, I often wonder about that aspect of if our ancestors are waiting for us on the other side, they say so and so come to greet you and take you, through to the light. I wonder how many ancestors reincarnated before I got back there. Or do your parents always wait for you to come back so that they can now reincarnate? Or do they remain ancestors to the next generations? Because they say time up there is a blink of an eye. There is no time. There's no years or hundreds of years or what have you. None of that exists on the other side. And so I wonder about that aspect of reincarnation. When we go back on the other side, how much family is still there? Are we reincarnating back here? I mean, like, if I'm born Italian in this life and I'm finding my ancestors from the last life, I think it would be silly to think that we've been Italian over and over and over and over and over again. So I think that ancestral connections may be larger than what we really think, because I feel like I also have tribes of Asian family, Indian family, African family. I feel I have tribes of Native American family, Middle Eastern European. I feel senses of, I have memories of Russia or Yugoslavia, actually. So I'm wondering about my memories of my past lives or glimpses. Or also I found that certain things we might be attracted to today might actually be reflections of our past.
Mhm.
So what reflections do you have? Like, what do you remember? What draws you personally? Is it a time period of clothing or an area of the world? What do you feel very connected to?
What I feel very connected to? Mm.
Like, do you love, like, see, I collect geishas and Asian art. So I definitely feel that, and I've felt Asian ancestors. So I feel like that might be something that's pushing through in my past life. You might love dragons. You might have lived at a time where dragons were in the art form all over where you were growing up or where you lived. So I'm saying is like, we have to look at also what we feel connected to. What do we find? Some people can't read enough of mythos with flying horses. Or all right, there's another example. We have Pegasus in our common art. I'm sorry. Okay, so we have art forms that we love today may be something that we've had from another lifetime, maybe something we're carrying over. And like wind horse, which is a Tibetan term for a horse of good fortune, that it brings the good fortune in quickly, is done on Tibetan prayer flags. Completely another part of the world, and yet we have the myth of Pegasus. So dragons, they appear everywhere in the world, yet none of us have seen one. Or we assume they might be dinosaurs that may have still lived and found and slaughtered, or large reptiles. So there's a lot to say about our reincarnation. And if, let's say, someone is in China and they believe in the great dragons, they've seen them, and they're reborn in another section of the world later on. They're reborn in Mexico, and they start talking about dragons and these giant lizards, and it takes hold, and now they have dragons. And then they start to discover them in England, and they're killing dragons, St. George, dragon slayers. So I'm saying is that I also wonder about if tribes of people even reincarnate into another tribe and carry these myths 100 years later to another place. So there's a lot to do with reincarnation. Means reconstituted, redoing, recreating. So yeah, I believe that a lot of our reincarnation has to do with us carrying over stories, times, because also flood stories are common, not just in the Bible. There are other cultures with great floods. I think this might also have to do with reincarnation stories of them carrying one story over through another memory. There are some children that are born with 100% clarity of who they were in another life. They were able to find it, prove it. There are documentations all over Asia and India with children and Buddhist. So there's this story about the Dalai Lama instructing this monk to go and find his teacher, that his teacher who died previously has been reborn. So he goes to the cremation grounds, finds the teacher's skull cap, this part of the skull that remained in the fire, looks inside of the veins and sees which way it's pointing, and he goes on a journey now to find his teacher. They figure his teacher must be about 2 years old now, and so he starts traveling and asking questions in each town. It's a documentation. Questions in each town about if they know where, if this boy has been born around this time at this date. And finally, he comes to a family that has a 2-year-old boy, and he explains to them who he is and what he's doing, and that he's come looking for his teacher. And so he takes out several implements, a cup, a set of prayer beads, and maybe another magical tool, and he lays them out, and he lays them out with other ones. So he might lay out 4 or 5 sets of prayer beads and 4 or 5 drinking cups and 4 or 5 other implements that a Buddhist monk would have. On film, the boy reaches out and grabs his beads, his cup, and he said, "These are mine. What are you doing with them?" And so now they go through some more tests, and they finally come to an arrangement that this is in fact a very wise Lama that has been reborn, a highborn Lama that must be brought back to the monastery to begin his training again. And he brings the boy back on the journey, and it's astounding to see this. And if anyone's had a 2-year-old child, you know you can't get them to sit still. This boy is robed in silks on a dais, sitting there and praying with the other priests. So it was truly this Lama reborn, and they went and found him, brought him back, and he's doing the practices again and repeating all the mantras with them. And the most interesting part was when this man was alive, this little boy was alive as a priest, he had built a retreat home in a cave in a mountain. And he had decorated, he had a garden growing, everything. He made a real home out of it. And as they were going up the mountain to bring him back to the house that he had created, he starts complaining, "What happened to my garden? Who did this to my house? Look at this place." He remembered everything. There is an American version of this called The Little Buddha. It's a film.
But just to let you know that I'm on. I've been on since the call started, but I was on my phone, so I guess that's why they couldn't identify me.
Yes, I've been looking for you.
Jonathan.
So
And I kept
muted. As soon as I finish this, I want you to speak, Jonathan. Okay, please. So in this story, this is about again an American version of it, but it's a true story about a Buddhist who came to America, to Washington State, looking for his teacher, who was an American boy. They take him back to Tibet, and they do discover he is actually a Tibetan monk, scholar, Rinpoche, and they bring him back and forth so that he could have his training again. So what I'm trying to say is we may be, you may have been a Tibetan monk in another life, but in this life you were born here into this family because you have karmic lessons with them, or you chose to be with them, and they were going to give you the tools you need to attain your goals in life. So there are many stories about, real good stories about reincarnation. And I'm going to hand the talk over to the fabulous Jonathan. Welcome.
Thank you. I don't know about fabulous, but thank you.
Fabulous.
Interesting chat. Interesting chat. So to I guess to coattail on what you're saying about the Dalai Lama. So that's for centuries how the Dalai Lama has been selected. There's always a bunch of kids, and one has to pass certain tests to get identified as the Dalai Lama. And historically, it's always been that there is one child that can do this, proving or at least given credence to the reincarnation theory of the Buddhists. Reincarnation is mostly, well, I would say mostly a belief in Hinduism and Buddhism, although early Christianity believed in reincarnation, and most of the Christian.
Can you talk about that a little bit? Early Christianity. It is Easter weekend. Let's talk about early
It's
Christianity
Easter
and
weekend,
reincarnation.
and yeah, I am a good Catholic, right? So the origins of Christianity has a lot of roots in Judaism, but also has a lot of roots in paganism, right? And if we break down the church, the Catholic Church as an institution, it basically is it started at, well, there's two major points of the Catholic institution. Number one, it's the empire, the Roman Empire transformed, right? The Roman Empire doesn't fall, it transformed itself into the Roman Catholic Church, with the emperor becoming the Pope, which both are infallible, meaning absolute power. Cardinals representing the prince of the empire. But the Catholic Church, with all the merging of different religions and traditions, basically becomes a cult to the dead. So if you look at Catholic churches, they use relics, bones, and pieces of clothing of people who have died that they have sanctified. And they, in their catacombs, they have lots of people that are buried there and worship. So look at the names that they give their churches: the Church of St. Paul, St. Jude, St. Luke, St. Mary, St. Rita. It almost never is the Church of God, because it's a continuation of their belief in how we reincarnate, right? And the reason we venerate saints is because we want to emulate what they accomplished in life, but because we believe that part of that spirit essence stays behind. And so one of the big understandings of reincarnation is that it's mostly lessons to be learned and completed. So the different journeys that we take is for our soul to learn these lessons so that we can complete different cycles. There is a school of thought that part of our spiritual essence or energy or whatever we want to call it stays in heaven while we make the migration to hell, and then we reunite. And souls travel, some people say in 7,
I've heard
some
that.
people in 5, but there's soul groups, and we may not pick our family and friends, but it is almost certain that we will encounter those 5 people that we have a soul contract with. And my mother may be my sister in my next life, or my best friend, or which is why the concept of soulmates goes beyond romantic relationships.
Thank you.
A soulmate can also be my cat or my dog, who's acting
right.
as a familiar if you're a Wiccan, right? Because the soul has no physical body, and that's we have to think of ourselves as energy, as spiritual beings. So the physical goes away, whether we're a dog, whether we're a bug, or whether we're a human. The physical will eventually die and perish and go away, and the energy goes back. And what it reincarnates as is depending on what karmic lessons I have to learn, or what I did learn, and maybe I don't reincarnate and I become a spirit guide for someone. And I think it's important to remember that time, as we understand it on planet Earth, is a human construct, right? We know because we count AD, Roman calendar, lunar calendar, so those are all human constructs. It doesn't exist in the spirit world. So my spiritual me may be with my mother in heaven right now, while my mother is on her path to being reincarnated, right? And some traditions believe it takes 7 years. Other traditions believe 40 days of crossing
40
the
days,
different,
I've heard.
for the Buddhists, right? 40 days.
Yeah.
If you're a Puerto Rican Catholic, they do misas or a mass for you for 9 days because they believe it takes 9 days to get you out of purgatory. If you're a Catholic from Portugal, they believe it takes 30 days. So a lot of it is regional and cultural on how these beliefs are. But what's really interesting is that almost every culture that has not been oppressed by religious dogma has a foundation in the continuum of life and the cycle of life, because reincarnation is basically talking about the cycle of life, right?
Spiral.
Right, it's just a cycle. It's I will not be me on my next life, but I will hopefully not, but I will recycle into somebody else. I don't know if it's going to be a boy or a girl or a dog or a tiger, or and it all depends on what, which is why it's so important to have reverence for anything that's alive, right? Which the Buddhists and the Hindus teach us. Everything that's a living being, that's a sentient being, has the same life force that you and I and all of us have. That's the breath of God or the breath of life, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same essence. So we must, even if when we're eating a burger or what, which I don't eat, but when you're eating a piece of chicken or whatever it is, that energy, that life force gave its physical form to feed you. Just like if I were in the 1600s or 1400s, I would give my physical form to feed the earth and become compost. I mean, that doesn't happen much more with embalming and all that, but that is just the cycle of life. And that's the great, I think it's one of the greatest lessons that reincarnation teaches us. I wish that the Christian institution would have kept that belief, because I think it gives people comfort. I don't know if you guys know, but I work a lot as a medium, which is my thing. And
Right.
for my communication with spirits, I have had encounters or readings where they ask, so how is so and so, and I, another spirit tells me they're not in this realm, which either means they moved up in heaven or they came back to earth, or I know that they're in a realm that I cannot communicate with anymore, and I have to give the mother or the wife or the husband or whatever the message that, well, I can't communicate with them because it doesn't seem that they're in the spirit realm anymore. And if they're not in the
Or they
spirit
could
realm
be in
anymore,
school.
they
There is
could be in
schools
school.
there.
Well, but to me, when they say they're not in this realm anymore,
Yeah,
I think
know
that
what you're
it's
saying.
a
They're
proof
gone.
of reincarnation. That spirit is
Mhm.
back to, which is why, not to be political, but as a medium, which is why abortion is difficult for me, because I believe that after the soul has entered that fetus, and I think that after certain weeks it does, and it gets aborted, that energy, that soul gets, recycled and has to find another way to come back, right? And we keep doing that over and over, and that can be beneficial for that soul because it's missing on life lessons.
Mhm.
I have had experiences. For example, I think my dog Amy is the reincarnation of my dog Bonbon.
Aww.
The only reason I think that, it's because of, she does certain things that Bonbon would do. And I've had many dogs in my life. A lot of them have been dachshunds, but she does things that Bonbon did. And I just find it interesting that, and it's, they're not from the same breeder, they're not from the same mother, they're, they were born in different states, but I think that somehow that energy found its way back to me. I have, as a medium, I have read people, and I think that a lot of times when we say your grandfather's with you, or your, your mom is with you, or this energy is saying this, that, I think it's that energy that we're connecting to with your spirit. Because I believe as a medium, I'm not reading Lady Rhea in the physical form. I have to connect with your spirit guides. And the only way for me to do that is to contact or to connect with your spiritual Lady Rhea, who in my belief is, that little piece that stays in heaven with your guardian angel and with your, your true self. And those are the ones that can talk to your mom and your dad and, whoever. And that's why I think, personally, I think reincarnation is real. I think it's a very fascinating topic. There's a lot of evidence floating around about reincarnation.
Tremendous.
One question that I saw, I think, I don't remember who, but somebody asked a question of what if the Dalai Lama is a girl? So traditionally, because of cultural, and only because of cultural and religious restrictions, up till now, the Dalai Lama has been a boy. I believe that the current Dalai Lama is working on lifting that restriction to allow girls to become Dalai Lamas. And let's hope that he succeeds, right? Because I believe anyone.
Well, in
What I
that
was saying-
story about the reincarnation of that American boy, this
Mhm.
was very interesting. They talked about soul splitting, and the soul split into many. So there was like 4 of them that makes one person.
Right.
So I think soul splitting is a complicated discussion and not one that I'm well versed in. And I don't like teaching anything I don't know. I only teach what I know, but I have heard of it. And I think that might also be how we become a soul group. Like you're mentioning 5 of us, a soul group may actually be souls that split and they're all one, like the amoeba split into 5 pieces. We're all one, we're all connected. And yet we have to find our way back together. And maybe when we all pass, we all go back into one soul again. Like the dark crystal, without that one piece, they couldn't join back together again. So I think that we're star seed transmissions, we're all pieces of a star that all
Right.
go back.
Well, interesting, because that story of the boy that was a Buddhist or in the United States, I watch a lot of documentaries because
Mhm.
I don't like regular TV. I saw one where there was a boy that I believe he was Japanese, and he reincarnated into the same type of family structure and the same type of religion, and he rejected it. And he went to get a past life regression. And the reason that he was rejecting it was because I already lived that life. I already learned those lessons. It's time for me to move on and learn new lessons and have new experiences, which is profound, because if I'm going to come back in my next life as a psychic medium, that Lady Rhea is going to harass in a storefront botanica when I'm a teenager. I don't want to do that again. I've already done that. Maybe my next life I want
you do. I'm gonna find you again.
don't find me. Maybe in my next life I want to, and I don't believe that most people want to know if they were Cleopatra, and I think everybody wants that, but that's not the reality. That
No.
the reality
We're
is that there are
mostly ordinary
billions
people.
of people. Most of us are ordinary, everyday folk, right? And I believe that Jesus, Buddha, people like that are high profile people like that, they come with specific missions and a purpose. Once they fulfill that, they don't come back.
No.
Unless
they choose to be bodhisattvas, but that's another story.
Well, that's a Buddhism discussion, right? That's
right.
a discussion
they
about.
Choose to be reborn until all sorrow has ceased to exist. But what's very interesting, what you just brought up was, I was just telling Scott, we went to Botanica San Lazzaro today. We filmed it. It was a great day. And, but on the way back, he was asking me more questions about Santeria, and being a New Yorker and being into the magical community, he was kind of surprised that I'm so involved in it, yet I was never crowned. And I explained to him, I went for a reading in 1986 to a Santero in Jonathan of Yonkers, who his name was. And he said to me, when he read the shells, I said to him, and you know this personally for many years, I've always wanted to be crowned. I always wanted to get into a house. And every time, well, what he said to me that day when he did my reading, he said to me, the Orishas have come down to tell you that you will never belong to a house. You've done this before, and that you have other things to accomplish. And if you get crowned, you won't do them. Jonathan, how many years have you seen me trying to get crowned?
I know.
Did it ever happen? No.
Well,
Why?
but you know,
Because every
that's-
time I asked, they said no. So I
but-
feel that that's part of what you're saying, is that I had other things to do. And if I had done that, I would have never accomplished these other things. I would have been more
Right.
restricted.
Well, and so let's put it into context, right? So getting crowned just basically means getting initiated into the priesthood of ex Orisha, right? And once you
Right.
become initiated into that, you become a working priest, or first you become a trainee, and then a working priest of said Orisha. And it's quite demanding. And
Mhm.
you would have not been able to do a lot, write books about candle magic and do other things, right? But more importantly, if you did it in a past life, it reflects because you still work with the Orisha. It just means
I
you're not a
certainly
priest
do.
of any of them, right?
Right.
And so that spillover from a past life. I did this in a past life. I don't necessarily need to be devoted or
That way.
exclusively devoted. And that's okay. That's
Oh,
okay.
I'm very happy with how my life turned out. But when I look back at what they were telling me back in 86 and the years forward, it was always the same answer. It was always, and thankfully they were good houses I went to, because there are a lot of houses that'll say, sure, you should be crowned. And, where's the money? These were sincere houses, that sincere babalaos that read
It was
for
a
me
different time back then, right? It was
and
a
told
different
me,
era.
but over from 86 to 2006, 2007, they all said, no, you're not supposed to. And,
Right.
it was very, I don't know what guardians were around me, but it was very beneficial. I came, like I said, I had things I had to do in this life. I love sharing about the many deities, many gods. I really love what I do. I'm very happy. I love teaching, but it would have restricted my life greatly. Yes. But
Yes.
I'm grateful that I'm familiar with them. I know them. They work with me. They respond to me. They've given me sigils. They've given me magic. They gave me everything I needed to become and teach what I was brought back to teach. But I did it, like I'm saying, this is what reincarnation is about. Is about staying within our goals, looking, what are we bringing from the past into the present? And a lot of times I find indications, like I'm very enamored with China and Japan. And I can actually, sometimes I can actually hear my Chinese ancestors talking to me. It's coming in English, but it's coming in their wording, their terms, their ways. And they're always yelling at me that I'm a stupid woman. They're going to send me to the fortune cookie factory. And sometimes my spirit guides have, I know you have this too, different personalities come through.
Well,
Different.
yes. Go ahead, Daisy.
No, it's true what she says. You get like different personalities come out.
Yeah. I'm going to get
Right,
my
well,
cards. Excuse me.
I agree with that it's different personalities, but I also agree that a lot of us work with different spirits and different I believe that guides are assigned to us at birth, or they come with us at birth. So
Yeah.
and I do believe that well, from my personal experience, that it's not so much that it's different personalities. I find that it's different cultures. So in Santeria, for example, it's very common. Oh, you work with an Indian, or you work with a gypsy, or you work with the madama, or you work with, there's a farmer man with a horse who collected coffee, and those are all cultural expressions. And to me, it's an indication of the makeup of who we are. So no, Rhea, you don't have to be Italian in this life, or maybe you were not Italian in the past life, but probably my next life, will I have Portuguese ancestry? Probably not. Will I have Portuguese spirits? Maybe.
I have Asian spirits. I have a
Right.
lot of spirits. I mean, like, I'm very crowded up here. And many zedis that I love and work with.
Right, but that's part of the reincarnation process, right? I believe, right? So I have gone through, because I don't believe I'm going to be born in the Bronx in my next life. I may be born in England. I may, we just don't know. That
No.
doesn't mean that the spirit contracts that we have don't carry over.
Exactly what I'm saying. They carry over.
Right.
We have tribes with us. We don't realize it, or why we're inclined towards certain genres. Who likes mer people? Who likes fairies? Who likes gods? Who likes saints? Who likes iconography? I think that those attractions come from our past as well as our present, and we'll
Right.
carry them into the future.
Right. I absolutely. For example, I collect tarot cards. Rhea knows this. I am
Yes.
fascinated by tarot cards. I have a whole collection. I'm not necessarily thrilled about reading tarot cards. I just like collecting them. I like the artwork. I like the messages inscribed in the artwork. I know that I work with a spirit that's very devoted to tarot cards or Spanish card readings and things like that. And I just like collecting them, but I don't necessarily know if I want to be a tarot card reader. I think I did that in a past life, and we can let Lady Rhea do that in this one.
And I love it. I love the tarot. I love Lenormand. I started out reading playing cards when I was about, I'd say anywhere between 10 and 12. And definitely the board, and I still love Ouija board. I still do it. I like methods of divination.
I like divination. I like divination. I do divination, but I tarot cards fascinate me aesthetically. I mean, I
Yes.
do tarot cards, but to me, aesthetically, it's just what captures me.
And you have a beautiful collection, Jonathan. Really primo, beautiful collection.
I'm
One of
going
the
after
best ones I've seen.
Thank you. I'm trying to get my hands on the Dali deck. I had one and somebody stole it.
Oh, I have a Dolly deck unopened, still in the plastic wrap.
Do you?
A velvet box, yep.
The one with the red velvet box?
Mm-hmm. Unopened.
That's the one.
Still in
That's
the
the one I had.
plastic.
Yeah, wow. I may have to go over and steal hers then.
I'm gonna hide it when you come over. Never opened it out of the plastic. I left it pristine. I bought it as a collection piece, not to be used.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to add it to my collection. I have
You
to
have
come
a-
over. I have to come over and show you my Santa Muerte deck. It's pretty
I was
awesome.
gonna ask, do you have a Santa Muerte deck?
I do.
There's one that comes in a coffin. I wanted one of those. I have the box.
Yeah.
Do I have the coffin? I have to go through my boxes of decks.
So what I'm going to show now is an example, and I'm going to use Jonathan at the moment to show how I work this. I'm going to pull up I'm going to cut the cards into 3 piles. You pick a number.
7.
Well, from the pile, 1, 2, or 3.
Oh. 1.
Okay, so from the top pile, the first cards, I'm going to choose 7 cards since you said 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very interesting. So here we have your first card is the 10 of Swords, which shows you came from a very stressed situation in your past life. Possibly, I would want to say put to death, but I think it was more not put to death, but a difficult death. And next to it is the 8 of Cups. So you were happy to leave that life behind. So you may have suffered in your last life, in your death. The Tower, it might have been also the sudden ending of suffering. Okay, so the release was great, because sometimes when we die and we were suffering, when we're released, we don't all feel suddenly like, oh, there's the light. You know, some of us still stay back, mourn. You didn't, because you have the Tower, which means once you were released, you took off. And the reason of that is you have the 3 of Coins. So you took off with something that you were already working on. So you might have already been working on what you're doing now, which was becoming a medium, because you have the Knight of Wands next to you, which represents someone that came through with messages and work that he had to accomplish. Now, here's the interesting part. The last 2 cards out of the 7, you have the Lovers, and then you have Judgment. So you had a choice of not standing up and being counted for, or counting what you had to do, or doing it. And since you met this crazy woman, the Botanica, that forced you into it, you chose the right thing. Judgment. You stood up and you were counted for. You didn't deny your mediumship. You didn't deny it. Okay, so that's what this would represent. So it's telling me that you carried over from your past life, your pain. You took what you learned, 3 of Pentacles, brought the messages back, made the choice to truly do what you were called to do for. I'm sorry, I keep getting called, I keep hanging up. So this clear judgment, the Judgment card too, is really being called out on the carpet, being told, what were you brought for? What are you standing up for? And you stood up for your work, even through, and you've had some terribly trying times the past few years. And even through that, if someone really called on you, even though you were in a state of mourning, you answered them. And that's, again, the Judgment card, is standing up and recognizing, this is what I was called to do, even though I'm in great sorrow. I know when I lost my family members, you know, I lost my mother, my father, my sister. I was already in this business during my first trial of death with my mom. And I continued working, continued reading people, continued seeing people, just like you did throughout that time. As a matter of fact, I lost my mother July of 1982, and I opened Enchantment September 7th of 1982. I lost my father in October of 95, and I started Magical Realms in the Bronx in October of 95. So I know what it's like to continue on with this type of work when you're in deep sorrow, because we do work with communication with the spiritual realm. And when we're so suffering from a loss, where our loved one has gone on to the spiritual realm, it's very hard to want to continue doing this work at that time. You just want to stop. But you continued, and you continued doing the great work that you do for a living. You know, you were helping the homeless at one time, right? Yeah. That's another very daunting. It's noble, it's beautiful, but it's a very daunting task. And I have to commend you. You've done such a wonderful job. Everything that you've undertaken, you know. I'm very proud of you. You know, I met everyone. I met Jonathan when he was 17. He walked into Original Botanica, and I was reading there back in the 80s the first time. And I went up to him, and I just knew it the minute I looked at him. And I said, "You're very psychic, aren't you?" And he looked at me and he said, "Well, you know, you shy?" He said, "Yes, I am. Thank you." I said, "Good. Have a seat. I have a Spanish client. I can't read her. You're going to do it." He's like, "What? Huh? Here's a deck of cards. Don't worry. You'll be fine." And so here we have Jonathan today. He had the opportunity, the lover's card. He had the option, the choice of taking this on at that moment or not. That moment, he had never read anyone publicly before in his life until I approached him. On the floor of a big Botanica, I'm pulling this kid over to this little table in a corner saying, "Here, read this woman." And he did. And he not only did a fabulous job, he started working for me at that point too. He worked for me for a long time, and went on to college, and went on to the workforce, but we've stayed in touch together all these years. And he developed himself into an extraordinary medium. I'm always asking him, you know, one day would he join us here on the Enchanted Cafe night and do a misa, show us how well a misa is done. Daisy, you remember the misa we had with him? Remember
Yeah.
Nikita that night?
They all came to her.
Oh, she had so many ancestors. Everybody in the room, is like 12 of us in the room.
Waiting.
This woman, every ancestor she had was coming through. And we're looking at Jonathan like, you know, like, you know, and he said, "What do you want from me?" They're all talking. So finally we told Nikita, "Can you get your family to shut up?" And she said, "No, they're all loud." Right down to telling her about what kind of pie they wanted for the Thanksgiving dinner. Oh, what a night. So yeah, Jonathan, maybe you'll consider that sometime, doing a private misa here on Zoom with us.
I actually want to really get back into doing misas because it's my
Ooh,
thing. I like
yes. Do it. Yes.
Well, so two things. Number one, I am really afraid of COVID, right? And the world we're living in right now. So I don't let people in my house, mostly because I don't want to make anybody sick. I had COVID. I don't want to get anybody sick. And I'm respectful of people's space. But more importantly, I even with other forms of divination, I just think there's something lost when you do it online. So I'm hoping that we can go back to the normalcy of face-to-face interaction. And then we can go to Lady Rhea's shop and we can have a bang out misa.
Yes.
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 I know that
yeah,
you use a little bit of it online, but there's so many people that are online right now with us that aren't going to be able to fly into New York and would
Right.
surely miss the opportunity of or an experience of
Yes.
how magnificent you are. I think that the soul connection is there. I think whether it's physically in front of our face or virtual, your soul connection with that person is still there. And when it's a misa where we're sitting down and we know we're committing to a certain amount of hours to accomplish this and only have a limited amount of people in the Zoom, we can't have a Zoom with 25, 30 people and they're all going to get read. We would be there for 10 hours. It would have
Right,
to be a small group, and we could do them sporadically, like first group gets in 10 people, then the next time we do it, another 10 people. So we would have to like really parcel it out. Also, we can't drain you, you know.
Right.
The Misa is very draining. It's a
A
very
misa is
draining
basically a
process.
seance, right? So a misa is a
Mhm.
seance. It's a word for seance in Spanish. What I have been doing with my clients online is I just get as much information from them as I can. What is your name? What is your birthday? Is there anyone in particular you want to talk to? I cannot guarantee who's going to come through because I don't control that world. But it takes a little bit more effort to do it online because I want to be as accurate as possible. And when we did the mediumship Zoom thing that we did a couple of months ago,
Well, yeah,
was
but that was
difficult.
on Crowdcast. It was very difficult.
It was difficult because Crowdcast kept kicking me out, and there were other mediums, so I had to limit the amount of time, which is not beneficial because sometimes I have a lot of information that I don't want to compress because I want to get the message across as pure as I can, which is important for
Yes.
I believe that seances are very beneficial because they're all about healing. They're also about giving thanks to our ancestors and those that have moved on, but it's about healing on their end and healing on our end, right? Because a lot of times the reason people want to communicate is, yeah, I'm heartbroken that my mom died or this one died. There's almost always unfinished business, and you want to heal that. And if I'm the instrument that's going to help you heal that and get to a level of understanding and forgiveness, then I've done my job. And a lot of times, there's guilt there. I read somebody last week who mother was passing on and she was just basically in a coma, just waiting to die. And he felt terrible because he felt that he let her die alone because he didn't get to her until she was in that state. And his mother came through and said, no, I know you were there whispering in my ear and holding my hand. And he just broke down crying, but it's important because he had that doubt. And even as a medium, when my mom died, I couldn't make it to her in time because she was in a different country. By the time I got there, she was already passed. I had that guilt. So I understand that process.
And right
At least
after that,
I-
you had Hurricane Maria go and destroy your mother's home. So you
That's
couldn't
right.
even get there to find the things you wanted to keep. He really went through a very sad, that 10 of swords, that also that great sorrow carried over into this life. You experiencing it again. And there are lessons we learn from it. You
Right.
know,
Oh,
it's a rite of passage.
I wanna validate that reading that you just gave me. So just to talk, so I am actually very shy. I'm talking a lot now because I'm online, but I'm actually a very shy person. So one of the spirits I work with mostly is Saint Expedite, which is my patron saint of birth because I was baptized in his church. And if you have crazy parents, culturally that becomes your patron saint. So those who don't know who he is, this is Saint Expedite. I
I
work
love him.
mostly with him. I also work with Saint Raphael a lot, but mostly with him. And ever since I was a child, I have seen him in dreams or in visions. And one of the things that I asked him was, as growing up, why am I here? And like, because I have certain phobias. One of my biggest phobias is the ocean. And I grew up by the ocean. I don't like it. Anyway, and he showed me in a dream and in a past life as a 24-year-old sailor, I guess, I was thrown from a ship for stealing money, which is that
Rhea coin, tower,
yeah,
sudden death,
I was poor, so I was stealing
backstab.
to help my family, and I was thrown overboard. That was my punishment, and I drowned, which I guess is my fear of the ocean. And it's interesting because it's something that I really work hard to try to overcome, and I just can't overcome it. And I don't want it to be one of my life lessons that I don't learn.
Right.
So, but I did tell Saint Expedite, if you think I'm going swimming in the ocean, you're going to have to teach this lesson a couple of more lifetimes. I'm not doing it.
Oh, come on, baby. I'm taking you to Orchard Beach.
I can go to Orchard Beach. I'm just not getting in the water, especially
Put our
that water.
toesies in. Oh no, it's so clean now. We'll put our toesies in.
It's not the
No.
cleanliness. It's the, I just suffocate. I feel, I just don't like it. I don't like any ocean. I don't like
understand.
swimming pools. I don't like any of it.
I love it. I'm a fish the minute I'm in the water, and I don't swim, and I'm still stupid, and I go in.
Yeah, well, I won't even take a bath in a tub. Don't like it. Don't like sitting in water. But that
Okay.
validates, right? So
Yes. it
why don't
does.
we volunteer
But-
somebody to get a past life reading? And can I suggest to people that I think it would be really interesting. So something that I like to do as a meditative exercise to try to connect with spirits, and then I'll give it back to you, Rhea, because I feel like I'm
No, you're
taking over your-
doing great. Take all the time you like.
something that I really like to do to meditate and to connect with the spirit realm. And I find that sometimes connecting into the spirit realm, since time doesn't exist there as we know it, we can see the different timelines, and I call those lifetimes. I like to sit on the floor and I put a cup or a glass of water in front of me. I light a candle and I light some incense, right? So the purpose for that, and I learned this from the Native Americans when I was living in Colorado, you want to have all four elements around you. So you have fire, you have water, you're sitting on the earth, and the incense is going to represent the air.
The air.
And you want to just sit there in a darkened room just with that light, and you want to call out to your ancestors, and you can call out by name. If not, you want to just call out to the ancestors that you want to give thanks and communicate and commune with your ancestors as an act of thanks and remembrance. And it will happen. I promise you guys, maybe not on the first time, but it does happen. You're going to open a vortex where they're going to come through and they're going to show you the, I don't like sage because I think it's too strong a smell. I prefer lighter smells because you don't want to be distracted. You want your mind calm and relaxed. So I think it'll be beneficial for all you guys. I think everyone has the ability to be a medium and to connect with spirit realm. I do believe that. We just forget how to do it. Not everyone was fortunate enough to have a crazy grandmother who forced me into it and then called her crazy Italian lady friend in the Botanica to force me to do it. But I think it's a great tool to have. And remember that in the Bible, mediums are called prophets. So, Lady Rhea, I think you have some readings to do.
So who is first?
Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. We have a group of lining up here. First would be GB, M, and then after that, Scott, then Andrew, and I still have more after that. Thank you.
Okay, let's get to work. So GV, how are you, beautiful?
I'm doing well, Lady Rhea. How are you today?
You look fabulous.
Oh, I have to keep up with you.
No.
I have a question, if I may,
Yes.
before. In regards to star seeds or star children, what is something that you have seen that is indicative that this may be someone's first time on Earth?
Their first time on Earth. I haven't met anyone that I would consider it their first time on Earth.
Okay.
I think we've all been here many times. We could have been in other solar systems too and chose to come back here because the soul family was here, or we came back to retrieve or save someone. But I think that we have many incarnations on Earth before we're done, because this is one of the lower realms. And the Buddhists also believe we can like I said, I've been watching animal shows all my life. And if they had ever filmed anything as incredible as a mother tiger adopting a gazelle, which is its food source, they would have filmed it. and it's showing up more now, and not just in captivity, but they're finding it in the wild. So I think that a lot of us are opting to come back as animals to show about how we can learn to get along, even though we're a different species or a different culture or a different race of people. And that's what I love about being a native New Yorker. You know, I said to someone today, I don't have to leave New York City and I've met the world. I have met the world here. I've met cultures from every country, from Scotland to Africa, to Italy, to South America, to Australia, to Britain, to Ireland. I mean, like Sufis, Middle Eastern people, Asian people, all cultures are here. We're a port. So I'm kind of happy that I was born here and had this rich opportunity to not only meet so many different cultures, but be part of their magical community. Because when you work in an occult store in New York, which I worked in the first two ever in New York, which was, of course, the Warlock Shop and the Magical Child, and later on opened up Enchantments. And I've been with Magical Realms for the last 30 years here in the Bronx. I've met so many different people and learned so much. Like, I'm Italian. I grew up with St. Anthony. You know, that's it. St. Anthony was for everything. But yet, you know, when I was working in the Botanica, all these women would come in and they'd be saying St. Clara, St. Clara, St. Clara. Finally, I said, well, what does she do? Oh, you don't understand. When you have somebody with a bad temper in the house, you put up a St. Clara candle and she brings peace. So I tried it. It worked. As a matter of fact, I've been attached to St. Clara for the last, I'd say, the last 35 years of my life that I've worked with her, love her. I turn other people on to her. But, you know, energies live in neighborhoods. Like, she's of the white energy, the white, peaceful, pacifying, like White Tara, like Virgin Mercedes, Obatala, St. Clara, any of the white purities that make things calm, Our Lady of Fatima, Our Lady of Lourdes, any of the deities that bring the calmness. It's Irene, the Celtic goddess of peace. These types of deities bring a great calmness. So St. Clara is of that incarnation. And so we're talking about reincarnation, meaning we're taking this incarnation and we're being born again into this incarnation, and we're going to reincarnate into another incarnation. You know, Sting is one of the best lyricists of our time. And in one of his songs, he says, just as in every turning leaf, there is a pattern of an older tree reincarnated. So what you brought into this life, I'm going to cut the cards into 3. Pick a number 1, 2, or 3.
2.
2. So from number 2, pick a number between 1 and 7.
6.
First card up, 10 of Cups, 8 of Coins, the Hierophant, spiritual law, 6 of Wands, victory, 6 of Cups, you're with a past life lover. And the Queen of Cups, 6 cards. So you came back looking for this person. You came back with your career already established, the 8 of Pentacles. So you knew exactly what you wanted to do, what you were going to do, and you applied the best of you have victory here. You applied the best of your spiritual knowledge from your past life with the Hierophant to bring it into this life, and you also found your past life love. So you found your love soulmate. You came back to be with that person. You brought great karma with you. Even though we have stress in our lives, doesn't mean we don't come back with good karma. Someone calls you a lucky dog, always landing on your feet, lucky karma. So yeah, your reading is excellent, and you still have other things you're going to do in your life yet. You have the Queen of Cups, which means with the Six of Cups, which means you're still carrying over from the past other things you've yet to accomplish. Okay?
Thank you.
I
That was
love
amazing.
you.
I feel great. I love you so much. Thank you.
I'm going back to work tomorrow for the first time in many months. I'm going to start going back into my routine of life. And there my candles are. So you don't worry, I didn't forget your white candle.
Thank you,
Okay,
Lady.
it's coming. It's coming. Don't worry. I'm coming back. I've
I
been
know.
very going through a lot, between COVID, last year at this time. We were taking care of Sandra's mother with COVID and here in the house, and then taking care of her with hospital visits until August when she passed. And then it's just been one thing after another. So, it's like a butterfly, every so many years I go into cocoon and then I reemerge. Resurrection. The butterfly is resurrection. It comes in from the egg to the caterpillar to the butterfly back to the egg. It's all about resurrection. So I love you. Who's next?
Thanks for being here, GVM. Hope to see you next week. And right after we have up next, I'm sorry, is Scott.
Scott. Hello, Scott.
Hello, Mama. How are you?
Mwah.
Mwah.
I love you.
How you
Okay.
doing?
I'm
I love
asking
you.
about your past incarnation and what you brought into this
Yeah.
life.
Blessed be.
Blessed be. Pick a number between 1 and 3.
1.
And a number between 1 and 7.
7.
Wow. Your first card up is the 9 of coins, which means you brought, and next to that is the High Priestess. So it's definitely telling me that hidden powers came with you in this life. You came here with certain knowledge, pre-trained knowledge. And it's not just with what you do, like your art form. That is also part of this, but this is also pre-trained knowledge as a healer, as a priest, as someone who's done this spiritual work in your past.
I feel all that.
But next to that is the 5 of Swords. So it's saying that you passed unsatisfied, or you didn't get to accomplish something. You lost the battle. And you came back into this life with the Justice card next, which means you were ready to take up that battle again. The next card is the Magician, which shows you came here very prepared to do what you had to do. Here's the interesting part. The next card after that is the Wheel of Fortune. So your whole life came in and it just turned, everything just changed like this. You've been doing somersault after somersault after somersault of saying, okay, I got this art, and I'm gonna learn that art, and I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna do this. So you've been recycling all of your knowledge through magic, through the Magician, but your final outcome is death, which means transformation. So you are under constant transformation. You have still other skills that you have not finished tapping into, that you are going to
Okay.
still be bringing forth. And there's skills you already know, okay? Like the healing. It's skills you already know, but you have not finished giving them out,
Developing it?
developing them, but
Oh.
not just developing them, but sharing them. They're
Mm,
developed.
yes.
You have not finished sharing the wealth.
Sharing them. Exactly.
And you're still
Which I'm
going
doing
through
now.
these, right, and you're still going through these endless resurrections of, oh my God, I discovered Bach flowers and this I already knew, how to heal with essences. So now I'm going to be sharing this and sharing that.
Okay. I love it.
Excellent.
Bless. Mwah. Thank
I
you.
love you.
Blessed be. I
Blessed
love you.
be.
And we got to set a day for me to come and do the staff.
You're coming up to get it.
Yes.
I won't
Okay.
ship it. You
We'll
come up
pick a
and see.
day. We'll come.
You come up and
I'll
see
pick a
me so
day.
I can grab your cheek, see? And then you could be like everybody else and say I was innocent, minding my own business like Jonathan, Daisy, Damon. One day a couple of them got together and they started talking about how they got into the reading business. And I heard them all saying, she did it to you too?
I'll be honored.
I got you. I
Bless.
told you. You work
Mwah.
with esoteric guides now, baby. You're part of the family.
Yes.
I love you.
Blessed be.
Anyone
Love
interested
you.
in
Thank
readings
you.
with Scott or Daisy or myself or Gretchen or Shelly or Rita, Lori Bizarro, just give me a text, 718-892-5350, and the madam will arrange it. I
Bless.
love you.
Love you.
Nice seeing you again, Scott. Hope to see you next Thursday.
Nice. Yes, you too, Annie.
Thank you for always joining, Scott. You're a treasure.
Thank
And
you.
who is next?
Andrew is up next. And then Mom.
Andrew.
Hey, Mama, how you doing?
I'm doing, baby. I'm doing. How are you?
I can't complain.
You look good. Gotta
Thank
bless
you.
So you
Blessings
want to
to you
know
too.
about your last life?
Yeah, and I'm actually curious to know why every time I connect to one of my past lives, I end up vomiting like The Exorcist.
Ah. Okay, pick a number from 1 to 3.
2.
Okay. Pile number 2. Pick a number from 1 to 7.
7.
First card up is the 3 of Cups. And that's cause for joy and happiness. But next to it is the 4 of Swords. So something, it's like, okay, if we look at the 4 of Swords, it's a box. The 3 of Cups is 3 happy hearts. Okay. So the 3 happy hearts are constantly putting into this cage.
Hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Okay. The next card is the 10 of Coins. So it shows me that even though your joy always ends up being caged, you still find the happiness in what you've achieved. You're really a very happy soul.
Wow.
Okay. And next to that is the King of Cups. The Knight of Coins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 of Swords. 8 of Wands. You haven't found your mate yet. When you find your mate where you can operate with on a good basis, on a balance, you will be but he's out there. You will be accomplishing great things. Lots of messages coming through, a lot of information coming through with your career, with your life. Your life will change. But it's that 3 of Cups in that 4 of Swords, which is telling me that your joy got caged. Somewhere in your past life, Either you didn't appreciate the joy or that partner, and so you lost out. The 10 of coins, you lost out on the wealth of what you should have had. You might have been like you are now. You might have been gay in the turn of the century. Let's say a supposed story. And you declined your lover because you were afraid of public opinion. So now you got to find each other again and correct it. You understand?
Wow.
I think it could be I'm making up a fantasy, but not. It's something to do with
No,
you
it's
have
spot
to
on.
be uninhibited by your joy, is what the message is.
I have
Don't
to
let
be
your joy be in, don't let your joy, if you meet someone that's your joy, don't be inhibited by public opinion or others' opinions. That's your joy, and live it. Okay? All right. I love you, Andrew. Who is next?
Blessings, Mama.
Andrew, so
Blessings,
nice
Mike.
seeing you again tonight, as always. And Monica is up next.
Okay. Monica, where are you?
Right here.
There's my baby. How was work today?
Tiring.
Yeah.
It's been crazy.
A lot of people coming in.
Yeah, a lot. A lot.
So pick a number from 1 to 3.
2.
2. T for 2. To T. To T. Pile number 2, pick a number from 1 to 7.
5.
First card up. A lot of you came into this with unfinished problems, unfinished family issues. 9 of Wands, a lot of battles. And then there's the Sun. Then there's the 10 of Cups, the World, and the final outcome is the Devil. What holds you back is unfinished business. What holds you back, because you have the Sun, the 10 of Cups, and the World. Everything is here right now. All of the joy and happiness. You can have children, you have family, you have a loved one. But the Devil, it's these old issues still muck you down. And we need to work through that process so that old issues like jealousies, envies, and things like that no longer come in and crowd your life. Excuse me, everybody. Yes, I'm working. All right, dear. My wife just came home saying, honey, I'm home. I'm like, okay, wait, I'm working. So yeah, these things, the Devil is also maybe someone who came into your life that's causing these issues to keep coming up. And I don't mean your partner. I mean, it might be what's affecting your partner, or you might be carrying this old karma that needs to be cleared up. Could also be a hungry ghost situation. Do you know what hungry ghost is?
No.
Okay. In Buddhism, we believe in a thing called hungry ghost. It has a very fat head, a very skinny neck, and a very round, empty belly. And the problem is it wants to feed off of your good fortune because it is someone that we may have killed or harmed in another life. And so what it does is when your good fortune comes, it wants to gobble it. And so it has a wide head because everything gets filled up there because it's got a very skinny neck, you see, and it can't get down into the belly. So it just keeps blowing up. So they have this service they call Lon Chak, which is the removal of hungry ghost. And it's very simple. It's a stick of incense in a white cake called a torma. or you can use pound cake, which Saint Expedite loves. He's king of the dead. Kind of interesting, the correlation. And they do this invocation to call the dead. And you say, you obstructing spirits of the dead, whoever I have harmed, hurt, or killed in another life, I offer you this torma, this offering of peace. Take this and go. And it's to resolve the hungry ghost. So you might want to make a prayer or a novena or a mass for or a prayer or a candle with incense for anything that's lingering around, like hungry ghost, the devil card, to relieve yourself of this negative spirit that wants to grab all your good luck. Because if you notice, every time you have something great coming, it gets snatched. We'll talk about this tomorrow.
We will.
Okay.
Okay.
I love you.
Love
Did you
you
like
too.
your reading?
Yes,
You feel it's
it
accurate?
was interesting.
Okay.
It was
right.
interesting.
Hi, Monica.
Okay.
Thank you for being here again.
Thanks, honey.
Seeing you.
You too.
And next up is Melissa.
Melissa. Hello,
Hi.
gorgeous.
How are you?
Do you have earphones?
No, it was Lauren in the same room. She went into the other room. We're together
Okay.
tonight.
Hi, Lauren. Many blessings to you, darling.
Hi, thank you.
You're welcome, honey. Okay, so Melissa, pick a number from 1 to 3.
3.
Okay. One, 2, 3. Third pile. Number from 1 to 7.
6.
First card up is Ace of Cups. Next card up, 2 of Wands, 2 of Swords, 8 of Wands, Judgment. Final card is the 2 of Pentacles. You have 3 sets of 2s, which is very interesting. It shows that there's a lot of duality here, a lot of dual action. You also have Judgment. So it's saying that you come from another time where you're standing up and being counted for. That you've stopped. I would have to say the 2 of Swords, it's like a scissor. You cut off whatever was stopping you from achieving what you came in to do. Because you were being blocked by, remember earlier I spoke about earthly delights.
Yes.
Be very distracting.
I knew exactly how that applied to me. Yes.
Okay.
And I
So
looked
you-
up Pachamama.
Ah, and what did you find?
That I've already been honoring her because I've been honoring Gaia.
Right.
And I didn't realize they were the same. So she's already someone that I've incorporated into my practice lately without even realizing it.
Mm-hmm. Because now she's proud of you. You see?
Mm.
Now she's proud of you. Judgment. You're standing up and you're being counted for. And now you've become the physical 2. The 2 of Wands, the 2 of Swords, that's fire, that's air. 2 of Coins, that's earth. And you're actually balancing what you're supposed to do. You're juggling. You're
And that's
you're
crazy
doing a great
because
balancing act.
222 has been chasing me now for about 15 years in every way possible, from the time to, I screenshot it every day, twice a day. I find it on receipts. It's everywhere.
Yep. It's everywhere. Yep. So there you have it. You have, you're standing up and you're recognizing your balancing act, how you can still have earthly delights without them being
taking over.
restraining. Yeah. So you're doing great. You're following the you're following great karma. You're on your path, stay on your goal.
That's all I keep hearing. It's like
Mhm.
that they don't want to give me any more. They just want to let me know that like I'm following it the way I'm supposed to be, and that's it. I'm not supposed to know what's next.
You're on a good journey.
Thank you.
And you carried this over from another life, and you got distracted, but you came back. 8 of Wands, the messages came through loud and clear. You're doing great. Okay, and I will talk to you during the week.
Okay. Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Mama.
And Goddess bless you, Lauren.
Oh,
Lakshmi bless you. I love you.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye, honey.
Thank you, Mama.
Who's next? You're welcome.
Thanks, Melissa, for coming tonight again. Always nice to see you too. And we have Hank up next. And then after
Hank.
Bethany.
Hank. What you doing, Hank?
Hey, darling, I'm making earrings right now.
I love it.
I'll show you. I'm gonna show a few so y'all can see. I'm trying to think of a way to.
Gorgeous.
Uh-huh.
I
making them.
want.
Want to take a minute to sign off and say good night to everyone. It was great being with you guys. I have to walk my dog. She's crying.
Go, Jonathan.
Good
I will
night.
talk to you tomorrow.
Blessings of Lakshmi.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll
Was it
talk tomorrow. I love you. Be safe.
Good night,
So
Jonathan.
nice to hear
And
your
thank
story,
you for
Jonathan.
coming. Daisy, you still with me?
Yes.
I love you.
Love you too.
You're so beautiful.
Mhm.
Okay, pick a number from 1 to 3.
3.
Okay. Pile number 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And pile number 3, number 1 to 7.
A number between 1 and 7. 5.
5. First card up is the 8 of Cups. Whatever you accomplished in your past, you walked away from it. You left it there. You're done. You're starting a whole new. You're taking your knowledge from the other side, things you learned on the other side, and bringing it into this life now. And there's the Lovers. So you made this choice too, to come back and do something different. 2 of Swords. 8 of Wands. And there's the Knave of Cups. You came back to be a messenger. You came back to 8 of Wands is messages. Knave of Cups, Page of Cups is a messenger. So you cut off whatever was in the past, whatever happened to you, and you made the choice to come back and do this whole new practice that you're doing. You might have been afraid of it in another life, and you cut off that fear also. So there's a soul memory here going on for you. You're standing up for something that you believed in but denied in this life. You're standing up for it now. So whatever it is you're doing, it's great because you have a lot of messages to get out. You have a lot of information. That's all about messages in this reading. Leaving the past behind and just coming through with all of these messages. You chose to cut off whatever stopped you, whatever choices you made in the past about not doing this, you've come back to do. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's good karma. Very good karma.
Thank you.
You're doing a good job. You're on a good path.
Thank you
I love
so much.
you. I
Love
want
you
to see
too.
your earrings. I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
All right. And
Thank
who is next?
Thanks, Hank, so much. Bethany and then Mary.
Thank you, Annie.
Okay. Bethany, hello.
Hello, gorgeous. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Happy you're here.
I'm
You
happy to
made
be
it.
here.
Yeah.
Finally.
So, Bethany, I'm shuffling the cards. I'm asking about your past and what you brought into this life. Pick a number from 1 to 3.
3.
1, 2, 3. And a number from 1 to 7.
My lucky number 7.
All right, let's go.
There we
Ace
go.
of Cups. So your past life is all about right now the heart and renewal of the self. The next card, you have a second ace next to it, the Ace of Coins. You definitely came back here to recharge your battery, and you've done that. The Lovers. So you're connected to someone very special. Did you separate from someone, sweetheart?
Sure did.
Recently?
Divorce is in.
Yep. And that's what it's showing. You had to come back, find this person so that you could accomplish what you had to finish with them, so that you could cut it off and move on, because your cards are as reads Ace of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, so it's very foundational here. The Lovers, next card. The next card next to the Lovers is the Three of Swords. That's why I asked, did you separate from someone recently? So this is a love from the past. You had to finish something with that love. You did. And now the Three of Pentacles, you're moving on. You next have the King of Wands, and next to that is death. So there's an entire resurrection coming in your life. Entirely new chapter. You had to come back and finish that old chapter that didn't get done.
Unfortunately.
Did you feel like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was draining, let me tell you.
It's over. You won't go through this with that person again.
No.
There's no reconnecting in another life.
Good.
I mean, there'll always be a connection because we're all connected, but
sure,
not in this way. And you're finished with whatever you owed him is done. You might have owed him a debt from another life. It's done. It's paid. Check. There's someone new though, isn't there?
For me, there is. Yeah.
Yeah. That's also showing up. And it's a whole new chapter. And it's actually rather delightful. Okay?
All right.
All right. If anybody wants to continue the readings that we're doing tonight about their past lives, just contact me. I'm available, and I have many psychics available. All of them deal with past life. So just contact me and say, you know, I love Daisy and I'd love to get my past life reading from her, or from Jonathan, or from Rita, or Lori, or Scott, or Hank. We're all here. We're all available. And you just got to contact me and I will hook you up. Kit Kat Katrina, connect with Katrina, fabulous medium. They're all here. So who is next?
Thank you.
You're welcome, my darling.
Thanks, Bethany. Mary, are you here still?
Mary? Where's my Mary?
I was trying to figure out what happened to my little screen. I pressed the wrong button, but I'll do it quickly. Hello.
Hi, darling. How are you?
Pretty good, thanks.
Okay, so here we go. We are asking about your past life.
Right.
I'm shuffling really good because I want to make sure you get your cards and not the other readings. That's why in between, once I pick them up, I start shuffling again right away to start getting a new energy reading, and for the spirits to help me to communicate what is your story. So can you pick a number from 1 to 3?
1, 2, 3. I'll choose 3.
All right. 3 has been very popular tonight. I love it. My favorite number. 3 is a charm.
Mm-hmm.
but 1 and 2 are good too. They lead to 3, which is important. Without 1 and 2, we don't get to 3.
Exactly.
Pile number 3 it is. Pick a number from 1 to 7.
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. Okay, you're coming from a place where you discovered a non-truth about a man in this life that you carried over from the last life, a relationship. It turned out to be, again, a lot of confusion, too much talk and gossip in the relationship. And then there's the 7 of Cups, which means nothing ever really materialized from the involvement with this past incarnation. Do you know who this is?
No.
Think. It's a man. He was not honest. He has caused a lot of confusion. And I would say the 7 of Cups, a lot of gaslighting. Do you know who this is?
And it's not in a relationship now, presently, because it's not even so much like that. Mm-mm.
So you, not present relationship, but maybe someone from your past, recent past, earlier life, earlier years in life.
No, I can't even think of anyone at this moment.
Okay, because you have,
Yep.
you have the Tower,
Uh-huh.
the King of Swords, the 5 of Wands, and the 7 of Cups. The 7 of Cups is like gaslighting. It's like you'll say, oh my God, that's a green coat. There's no green coat there. You never saw a green coat there. That's gaslighting. Someone who would intentionally misdirect you. Father is possible.
Well, probably most if that's the case. But then, other than that, there's no one at the. There's so much noise now in the kitchen, but there's no one at them I could think of.
How were
Even if
you
it
with your
came down-
dad?
Back then he was. We were always. It was always him and I, because my mom had to always work because she was working at Florence Nightingale at that time. So it was always him. But I guess with him and my mother, probably that was probably the issue, I would say.
Well, you came back into this life to be a part of it, so you have to understand where that came from. I'm going to pull 3 more cards. The Wheel of Fortune, the King of Cups, and the High Priestess. So there were hidden forces at work for you with this situation, even if you were being misled at the time. The Wheel of Fortune with the King of Cups and the High Priestess, there was a good reason for what they were hiding from you. But I would have to say that this is possibly your family hid things from you when you were growing up. Gaslighting, didn't tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because maybe, because we're from the islands, so from the West Indies, so everything is always hidden as you grow up as a child. So no, they're not gonna explain everything to you unless you find out from yourself, for yourself. They'd be like, oh, that's what it meant. But other than that, they're not gonna bluntly say, oh, this is what happened and stuff like that. No.
Yeah, no, this wasn't, you were intentionally misled, but it seems like it was intentional to protect you.
Okay.
But they weren't telling you the truth of whatever it was they were going through. Some families bond by saying, look, kids, we're poor and we have to do this to survive. Some families make it like, oh, it's nothing, and the truth is that it's sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
that could make sense.
But there were hidden forces about it. This was done for good reasons. This was done for good purposes, the High Priestess. Might have also brought you to who you are today, to where you're looking into spirituality in a different way.
Way,
not in the traditional way where you were raised. Your aspect of spirituality is completely different than a West Indian. Your aspects of spirituality go into different lengths, different depths, more modern.
Yes.
Yeah. That foundation is what brought you here today. Whatever they did to hide it from you, whatever they were going through, it was what changed your life, changed the wheel of time for you. You came into this life not being told what you are, but you discovered it irrespective of that. The wheel of fortune changed and brought you over into what you found now with the High Priestess card.
Okay. Which makes sense
You
now. 'Cause,
understand?
yeah, before,
Yeah.
yeah, because I was like, I'm not quite sure, but now I
Yeah.
grasp it a little bit more. I
Yeah,
understand it.
because of what they were hiding from you. You came from a very spiritual family, and I think that's what they were hiding. Okay, but Wheel of Fortune, you were meant to find this spirituality, and you did. You did come back and find it. But it was being hidden from you. You were being gaslighted somewhere here. I think you should think more about your upbringing.
Okay.
Okay, so who is
All right.
next?
Thank
See you
you.
next week, Mary. Thank you
Yeah,
for being
see you
here.
then.
Lauren's up next, and after Lauren would be Maria.
Okay. I need to take a break. So Daisy, can you talk for a few minutes and I will be right back? And I will continue reading, but I will be right back.
Hi, Daisy.
Hi. So how is
Hi,
everybody finding it
Daisy.
interesting?
You look
Are you
so
liking it, the
beautiful.
class?
You look so pretty.
Oh, thank you. So
So
everybody's liking the
Daisy,
class?
I'm loving it.
it.
And I just want to
Yes.
say that I'm making wands and I'm making a couple with you in mind, sweetheart.
Oh, yes. I know. Rhea told me that you make pretty wands.
Oh, I gotta show you
Yeah, so
mine.
oh yes.
I love
So I'm
wands.
making it and I was just, I don't know, you popped in my mind. So I think one of them may be for you or calling to you or something. So I'm going to have to show you them when they're done.
Oh, yes. Please show me. Mhm.
Totally.
I think I
And I
like
know you like
Daisy's new
pink.
cards too.
Yeah, I love
Mhm.
pink. How are
Mm.
you? How's everyone? Everyone's good?
Yeah, how you been?
Fine. Oh, so busy at work still. So many people coming in for the vaccine.
We're gonna be busy until the pandemic light starts seizing up a bit.
I know. Now, I think next week we start taking from 16 years old now.
Yep.
No, we're doing only 30 in my job.
No, we're 30 right now. Next week is 16 for us.
Thank God.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I found out as soon I get a call in a couple days, I get unblinded. I find out if I got the placebo or the vaccine. If I got the vaccine, I get the letter. If I got
I took the vaccine already.
and if I got the
I
placebo,
took
if
the
they give me the
first shot.
vaccine.
Huh?
I took Moderna as well.
Oh my God, that hit me. Oh my God, I was sick for 3 days.
Really? I didn't get hit at all.
No, you're lucky. My bones
Me
was
neither.
hurting me like
Nothing.
crazy.
Mama got the
Oh
good
my
one, that's
God.
why.
And
No, I got Moderna. I didn't get sick though. I was very
I got
fortunate.
Moderna.
She
I
got
wanna
the
didn't
sleep.
Dad
either,
also
thank
got
God.
the arthritis.
I slept so much.
Yeah, she got exhausted. Sandra didn't feel good either. She had Pfizer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
The
God.
second shot hit Sandra bad. She felt like she had the flu.
I'm scared I'm gonna get my second shot. I'm so scared.
Was your first shot good?
It wasn't bad, yeah.
It wasn't bad, so.
You'll be okay. So who was next? I'm sorry to have left you a moment. But if I didn't leave, I wasn't going to make it.
Lauren?
Lauren, hello.
Hi.
Okay, I am shuffling the cards. Pick a number from 1 to 3, my love.
2.
Okay. Lucky 2. 2's company. Pile number 2. A number from 1 to 7.
7.
Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Wow. Did you want a house all your life, Lauren?
Sure. Yeah, I guess you can say that.
Did you get a house yet?
I have one with my husband, yes.
Okay. Your first card up is about the Temperance card, which is you came back in a transitional state, transiting from who you were into something else, being born into an entirely different set of circumstances. And you brought with you the world, which means you brought with you all of your knowledge of what you wanted. But what you wanted here was the 4 of Wands, which is a home, and the Queen of Pentacles. So you wanted, and the Lover's card next to that. So what you came back to accomplish was establishing a home life, security, a foundation of, I'm coming back and I'm not going to be a nomadic life. You might have led a nomadic life last, and you said, when I come back next time from when you were getting to reincarnate, you came back with the intention of having established a home, security. The Lovers, did you move to a different state?
No.
You're in the same, did you move to a different town?
Well, I grew up in this town and then I left it for maybe like 13 years. And then I
Okay.
moved back to the town
Yeah.
in this house.
Is that when you got your house, when you moved back to the town?
Mm-hmm.
That's the nomadic part. You left that part for a while and you came back, because there's a nomadic thing in here, like wandering, searching. But then the 6 of Swords indicates traveling over troubled waters, but you came back to the 8 of Swords. Now, the 8 of Swords can represent feeling indecisive at some point about finally settling, but you did. And that's 2 squares, 2 4s. Okay, so you're very well established. Your boundaries, your home, your situation had to be made, settled and complete. You came back to complete a home life, a family life with the person you're with. And you did it. You absolutely did it. But there's something more here. They're telling me that you're still finding your career center.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you haven't really made a complete decision, or you might be in a career, but you might want to do other areas of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? Yeah. So what do you do for a living?
I'm in
You-
finance.
Are
I've been
you
in
looking-
finance ever since I was like 17.
Right. You're not settled in it though.
Well, yeah, it's finance. You sit behind a desk. It's all I've known. So
There are other areas of it though that you may start approaching.
okay.
You might go into stock or Bitcoin. I mean, I don't know. You're going to do something different. I think it has to do with investing.
Okay.
You might, it's a sideline. You might start investing, You might invest in pot farms or, flipping houses. But there's something different coming that they're telling me that it's new knowledge. It's knowledge you've gained here at this time. It's different.
You're not the first person to tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been hearing that.
Well, we'll see what happens. Keep me posted.
I will, definitely.
Okay. Did you like your reading?
I loved it. Thank you.
Good. Anytime. Yeah, we're all here to be contacted. This is Esoteric Guides, New York City. We're a happy community of psychics that love sharing our gifts and our knowledge, classes, school, rituals. We have everything here online. So thank you for joining us tonight. Tell your friends about us, everybody. Get people to come
Absolutely.
on. Okay, and so thank
Thank
you for
you.
coming. Who's next?
Thanks, Lauren. Maria's up. Hey, Maria.
Hey, Marie.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for coming on. Welcome. So we're going to see what your past life has brought into this life, what you're bringing. I think I was a zookeeper in another life. I have birds, dogs, a cat, fish. I probably owned a petting zoo. I would love a petting zoo.
Oh my God, that's my daughter. She has 6 rabbits, a cat,
I believe it.
a bearded dragon. Oh God.
The Zookeepers
Selena
Club.
has my house looking like a farm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like that too.
She
I
brought a
only saw one
rabbit and the
cat.
rabbit had babies and we didn't even know.
Oh.
Well, that's the surprise with rabbits. So a number from 1 to 3 before my phones die here.
2.
Okay, number 2. A number from 1 to 7.
7.
Uh-huh. Your cards, you also have options and choices that you've made to change your world and change your home. And there's a female who, from your last life, is in this life, who has been very prominent in saving you from great sorrow. Is that a sister?
My mom.
Your mom. Okay. She's been tirelessly working to get you past your troubled waters, to get you security. You feel like she's like your sister?
Yes.
Yeah, because you
She's
two have
my foundation.
a very compatible, almost girlfriend-like energy. Did she introduce you to a man?
No.
Or approve of a man in your life or something?
Yes, my husband.
Because the outcome is a man that made you very happy, but it was because of her.
Yes.
She approved it or brought him?
She approved it, because if it wasn't for her approval, I would not have gotten it.
You're in good karma. You both have a lot you've done in your past lives, a lot you're doing in this life. Do you two cook or bake or something together? Or sew? Do you do
Yes.
something? What is it you do together?
We cook.
You both
cook
cook together. Yeah, that's from the past. That was sharing a roof in the past life.
Yeah, she lives with me.
You're doing it again. It's
Yes.
beautiful. There's great happiness here. Is there a child coming?
Hopefully not. I have 3 kids. My youngest, 5.
Sorry.
Well,
The
I
rabbits are
will
here.
accept.
Oh my God.
If
The
I have
rabbits are
another
coming. Hooray,
one, that'd be
hooray.
wonderful. I because I do want to have another one for housewives. I have not been able to conceive another baby, but we have 3 so far.
And the youngest is 5, and so you're still in childbearing years?
Yes.
Okay. Has your mother been praying for another child?
No.
Okay.
She, because of my health reasons, she's like, no more.
Right. Well, it may come in another way. You may foster, may take someone else's kid in to help raise or grow up or feed, but it's not saying a baby.
Fur baby.
Could be a fur baby, but I think it's a child. You know, you
Okay,
might,
wonderful.
yeah, you might take on another child. More like a 4 or 5-year-old. I'm seeing, you know, something compatible to that 5-year-old. Possible. Then again, maybe not, but I think karmically something is coming. So you watch and see. Okay? But cards are beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Mwah.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you very much. Many blessings.
Blessed be. Okay, and we have one more.
We have 2 more.
2 more.
Thank you, Maria. Cinnamon's up next.
Cinnamon.
Hello, my love.
I love you.
I love you back.
Ah, I'm so happy to see you here tonight.
Yeah, I was doing some artwork. I didn't want to be kind of on screen while I was finishing up the piece.
Ah, you look great. Mwah. So let me see what the cards have to say for my Cinnamon. Cinnamon, pick a number from 1 to 3.
I'm joining the 3 club.
Okie dokie. A number from 1 to 7.
7, please.
First card up is the Empress. So this shows in your past life you had accomplished a great deal of wealth and abundance, and possibly in charge of land. Next is the Ace of Pentacles, again about the wealth and abundance. The Sun, you had a great deal of land. Knight of Wands, 4 of Cups, King of Swords, 6 of Coins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in this life, you carried over a knowledge of land or knowledge of artistic wealth or wealth in general, and the answer is in front of your face. You just have to find a balance of where to find this accumulation. You know, you might be going into it, you might have carried into this life knowledge where you should be going into a different career than what you've been doing. It might have to do with art. It might have to do with land. Well, that's beautiful. But it might have to do with land. Somewhere, I don't think real estate is your thing, but somewhere in between that, you might be missing out on your calling. Hmm. The word broker is coming to me. Have you ever brokered a deal?
Well, I was in sales, so I was doing but art supply, kind of wide format printers and color management and things like that. So I was always constantly a liaison between the client and the boss, or the company.
Right. I think that you're going to be going into that again, but you might be an art broker. You might be dealing directly in art sales, because the Empress card and the Ace of Pentacles is saying that this would have been large art or wealthy pieces or rare pieces of great fortune that you might go into antiquities and dealing in antiquities. Art. You should be an art dealer. You should be dealing directly in art.
Would it have
And
to do with my own art, maybe? Maybe broker my own deal?
You should, yeah. Your own art. Start getting, or maybe even creating a virtual gallery, since we have everything virtual
That's what I'm
today.
going to work on next. I have about 400 pieces now from last March to now.
See? So, yeah. And you would have help from men. Men will be helping you do this, or helping you establish this virtual art gallery.
Will they carry
But this
me?
is,
Sorry.
yeah. And this is coming from a past life into this life. This is something, one of your goals, which is to work with art, broker deals of art, and possibly antiquities. I don't know. I've never known you to work with antiquities, but that's the words they're giving me. You might start buying antique pieces and selling them online virtual. I don't know. That's another possibility. You're a good hunter. You'll find it.
I need a new job. I don't have one, so.
I'm getting an impression of something you might be doing like that in the future. We'll talk about it. Okay? All right. I love you. I have an idea of something you might be, might become a dealer in ceramic art or art pieces that are sold online, as well as your own pieces, or might incorporate antique pieces in your own art. Something to do with antiquities. Okay, or maybe creating antique looking art, or art that has an antique feel to it.
That's what I was kind of thinking. It might have something to do with maybe a historical or history or primitive art, things like that nature.
Yes, absolutely.
I kind of, yeah, okay. I mean, my work doesn't necessarily look like that, but it definitely pulls in from some
antiquities. Yeah.
Yeah, like something. I mean, like I said, I just did this. But it's not necessarily an antique piece, but it does have an armor to it, or something of that nature.
That's what I'm saying. It's coming from the past into the present. You're bringing your past, your antiquities, into the present life.
Okay, I like it.
Very good. I love it. Good karma. Good.
Mwah.
Mwah. And who is next?
Thanks for being here, Cinema. And the last one up we have tonight is Lynette. I got you on. Told you I would.
Hi, Lynette.
Hi.
Where are you? I don't see you yet.
Hello.
Lynette, wave.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
Good to see you.
I love it. It's
I'm
nice
learning
to see
how to
you.
move the screen so I could see.
Oh, yeah. It's okay.
Okay, so we're shuffling and we're thinking about your past. Pick a number from 1 to 3.
3.
Okay. We have the 3 club tonight.
I was feeling 3.
I love 3. I love all the numbers. They're all good. They all have their special meaning. One, 2, 3. The 3 pile. Pick a number from 1 to 7.
7.
First card up is a 7. You have the 7 of Pentacles.
Oh, wow.
Right. And next to that is the King of Pentacles. And then the 3 of Pentacles. And then the 8 of Pentacles. And then the Empress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Something is blocking your good fortune. Something from your past. 10 of Swords is your outcome. Is blocking your good fortune. It's blocking your love life, your productivity, your and it has to do with the past. So something wasn't finished. 7 of Pentacles. Something was ready to be born, ready to come out. And then you have the King of Pentacles, the 3 of Pentacles. So your work, your ability to display your work, the 8 of Pentacles was cut short. And it was a great deal of work because you have the Empress and the Ace of Cups. So this means that you were seated in a place of glory, of honor, and that was taken from you, the 10 of Swords. Do you feel like that now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. 1,000%. With the pandemic, unfortunately, right before it hit, I had a really good job. And it was one of the first places that I felt like I was in a positive environment. And then unfortunately I got laid off, and I just recently started at a real estate office, but I've been feeling a little unsure if this is the right path for me. So I'm like in a fog right now. Yeah.
Real estate is very difficult.
Yeah.
Because you really need a bankroll to support it.
Correct.
Everyone feels like when they go into real estate, and it's great money, but it takes 8 months to sell a house. And then it takes another 3 months for the closing. And meanwhile, your tongue is to the floor. I am getting a sense that this is just the grease for the wheel.
Okay.
If you didn't get a job in real estate, it's like the wheel was stagnant. Getting the job in the real estate is like greasing the wheel. It's starting to turn, but you're going to turn into other events. The wheel is not over yet. You're going to come back up on top in a different situation. My AirPods are about to die, so I'm going to take them out.
Okay.
So that I could be on speaker. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
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 Yep.
Yes.
Great backdrop, Andrew.
Thank you.
I'm not muted, but can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
No.
Yes.
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 You can hear me, I can't hear you. Okay.
Can you hear me?
No.
What's
Speaker.
important here is, Lynette, there's going to be some big change. You're going to come out of this darkness, but I would like to speak to you. You know me through Facebook?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I would like to speak to you because I feel that there's a greater future coming for you, but it's about maybe 2 months away.
Okay.
But you're going to go into a different field completely.
Okay.
You're not going to remain in this field. You're going to go into something else.
Yeah, I could totally,
Okay.
I totally feel that.
I'm not sure exactly what it is at this time, but it's not this.
Right.
And you didn't intentionally go into real estate. This is just something you took because you're just desperate to be in life again.
Yeah.
What
and
is it you do for a living before this?
I was working at an actual entertainment company.
I don't know why I'm not hearing anybody.
Can you hear me now?
Lynette, do you want to type it in for her, honey?
I got
sure.
it. I got it.
You got it?
I got speaker. I'm back. Okay. What is it you did initially?
Oh, I was working at an entertainment company, which is perfect for me because, you know, I work as a belly dancer.
Right.
So we were hosting events and stuff like that. And I was just getting started in that field. So it really worked with me. And then, of course, this, you know, the pandemic. Yeah. And all that.
Are you looking to do something besides that, though?
I'm open to it. I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you'll be a belly dancer again. I think that that's coming back. That entertainment part is coming back. But I also feel like you're going to do something else artistic.
Yeah.
Not painting, but or ceramics or anything like that, but something more in the artistic field that will be very good for you.
I can see that. Yeah, I'm a very artistic person, so I understand that completely.
I know you paint, but that's not it.
No, I like to create other things like video content and stuff like that, and just get things out of my head and make something from what's ever going on in here. Yeah. It's a way of expressing myself. That's what I like to do.
You will be. You will be. They're telling me to tell you, remember, think outside the box.
Okay.
Listen, you can create your own entertainment videos. But this problem you're having, I mean, like the pandemic is what caused it this time, but this is not the first time that your good fortune was hammered.
It always feels like that. I always feel like there's something that blocks me and I can't figure out what it is, to be honest with you.
Hungry ghost.
Hungry ghost. Okay.
You know, I think it would be great if I dug it up and found my Hungry Ghost ritual lawn chalk. And I came on live one night and did it for all of us to rid us all of hungry ghosts. And, you know, we could attract hungry ghosts too as a spiritual being in this lifetime. We don't have to kill somebody to have created hungry ghosts, because hungry ghosts can be, okay. Remember the movie Gremlins? He drinks the soda and all these little gremlins pop out of him.
Yeah.
It's like that. These like little gremlins pop out of people who feel upset from us, and they remain with us, and they become negative spirits that keep eating our good fortune. So uncrossing is good for this, salt baths.
Oh my God, I just did a salt bath today.
Yeah, see, yeah, absolutely. So you're feeling the gremlins. They're little gremlins, and they're around us, and they're like,
I was feeling that today. I was, yeah. I was dealing with a lot of this negative talk, and it actually drained me.
Yeah.
It did drain me, and I don't like to entertain that. I don't like to live in that type of space. So I'm very sensitive to stuff like that.
You know, some free advice to everybody for the moment is when you feel that, you should always keep this one staple in your home for moments like this. And you're going to be surprised when I tell you all what it is. Apple cider vinegar.
Yes.
When I'm really feeling depressed, if I don't have, which is rare, if I don't have any bath here in the house, I grab my apple cider vinegar. I pour it into a large plastic bowl. I leave it outside my shower. I step in, I do a regular shower. And before I turn off the water, I grab that bowl, fill it with the water still coming down from the shower, and just pour it right over myself and say, may this bath be the best bath. Do I smell like salad dressing? For a few moments. you know, but
Yeah.
apple cider vinegar has another benefit. It's very good for your skin and hair.
Okay.
Okay. But what it does is it just takes that shock value right off of you.
Right.
And you feel relief. You feel better. You feel refreshed. Another very good bath product to keep in the house always is fresh mint leaves. You're feeling depressed, you go shopping, you see in the green grocer, they got fresh mint, buy a bundle. Or keep mint extract, and you can always add a drop to a bowl of water and pour it over yourself, not on the head though. Because if
Okay.
it gets in the eyes, we're gonna be, oh boy. So yeah, but menta, also another good refresher. Apple cider vinegar removes negativity and refreshes the soul, refreshes the spirit. So it's always good to have, as well as salt, of course. A salt shower or bath will always get the Drecker to offer you. The baking soda bath is excellent for refreshing the spirit.
Wow.
So spiritual bathing is very important. I may do a class on that in the future. But I want to thank you all for coming tonight. Annie, it's getting late,
Thank
so I
you.
will you alone later on. If not tonight, then tomorrow. But I want to thank you everyone for coming. Remember, this is brought to you by Esoteric Guides NYC. Check us out. And you know, when you go on, you will see the beautiful Lynette. Here is our model, is our belly dancer model for the Esoteric Guides. We love you, and
Love
I'm
it.
so glad to see you on tonight.
I love you
And,
too.
of course, we all want to remember to thank our fabulous co-host, Scott Harney, who created Esoteric Guides 20 years ago. And he's brought it live now virtual. He has a great blog. He does great shows. We have the Zodiac Lounge every Saturday night on Crowdcast. And I want to thank you all for always coming and joining forces with us. We will be, I want to see those beautiful earrings, Hank. So we will all be in touch again till next week. We have
Thank you, Mama.
the fabulous Lori Bizarro of the Temple
Yes.
of Hecate. Hail
Glory.
Hecate. She
Hail
will be
Hecate.
doing Hecate Oracle readings, where
Amen.
she will be invoking the goddess Hecate to come down and give us spiritual messages. So please remember to join us next week. I want to thank Daisy Orsini. Where are you, beautiful?
Here.
And Jonathan for coming on and being guests with me. Daisy, I love you and thank you for your input tonight. You look gorgeous as always, our beautiful Aphrodite.
Muy hermosa.
We're coming up also, Aphrodite and I have plans for a glamour class. And we're going to be talking all about spells for glamour. And we'll also have coming up again, also in the future, another coven of Santa Muerte.
Yes. I'm in.
And I'm waiting because I have a new Santa Muerte statue. I was at Botanica San Lazaro today.
Did you find out for me?
That's my spot.
The one you want is like 300.
I love it though. It's so beautiful.
But guess which one I bought?
Which one?
The red and black one in the far corner.
In the end. You bought it? Oh my God.
And then I saw some Santa Muertes for Annie today. So I told him I picked out a couple. He's going to be bringing them over with that one. So then Annie can choose which one she likes.
Hey, Lady Rhea.
Yes.
Next week, can you ask Lori about the relationship between Santa Muerte and Hecate? There's questions that haven't been resolved in that relationship. So that'd be.
Well, you know what?
Tune in and hear about that.
I think that's a great topic to bring up in her talk next week.
Yeah,
I will tell her that.
Hecate about every other week. I'm in a temple of Hecate. So I definitely will join in and listen in, see what you two got.
I think they're very similar. It's just different cultures.
There's a connection because some people have both Hecate and Santa Muerte, but some people say it's not a good connection. It's not a good
Personal gnosis.
I
You
don't
got
know. I don't know.
it's personal gnosis.
Personal note. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, you know, I look at Hecate and Santa Muerte and Kalima and Yeshe Romo and Scipiamo and Caradwin and Morgana, all having a similar energy, including Oya. Okay, she rules the cemetery. I just think Santa Muerte is, personally, my opinion, older than any of this. I think Santa Muerte was born with the inception of conception.
The inception of conception. I love that.
Okay. Because when you look at this, and I want you to listen to me, Santa Muerte was born with life. Because in life, if it didn't have the balance, we would constantly just create. So imagine, let's think. We all have ancestors, right? Because that's what we were talking about tonight, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And so what if the first ancestor that created our line of life, okay, never died? And all of those people that they created after that never died.
Right.
We would have thousands of people of a family. I can't get through Thanksgiving dinner with the little family I got. Because imagine having a gathering of thousands of us trying to get along.
Right.
Oh God.
That's a good
So you
point.
see, death was very necessary. If not, we'd still be living with dinosaurs,
right?
Saber-toothed tigers, pachyderms. You know, if nothing ever died, there would be
one of
nothing
the
to grow.
questions about Santa Muerte and Hecate are both are leaders. They both at the crossroads. They both lead the dead. And the question is Santa Muerte leading the dead or the Hecate leading the dead?
They say Mama and Brigitte, one of the Loa of the Jete house leads the dead
No,
too. So they're like
they're
very
not leading the dead. They are harvesters. They do not kill, they harvest. They make for an easy passage of the end of this physical into the next spiritual. And then Caradwin, the cauldron of rebirth. And so we go back through the rebirth process. That's a different set of deity, the rebirth. She's a harvester, but what she can harvest is the unrealized dreams of people, which is why when people go to Santa Muerte and they say, Santa Muerte, I really need money. I need a job. I need a career. I need this love. She harvests that and brings it to you. She's a harvester, not a killer.
Yep.
That's simple. But what I'm saying is, but if that ending was never born with the creation just would have went on and on and on and on, which it does. But the earth itself, if we all constantly just remained, would have collapsed in itself already, because it could have never housed the thousands of us, billions of us. Everything that was ever born never died. It's impossible. We couldn't keep creating. It had to have a balance. You all think about that till next week, okay?
Love it.
I love you all. Annie will talk.
Have a good week.
Love you, Mama.
Love you. Thank you, Mama.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Annie.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
See you
Bye.
next week, everybody. Enchanted Cafe from Esoteric
Bye.
Guides.
Can't
I
wait.
love you. Remember,
Love and light.
we have the
Love
best
and light.
psychics in New
Love,
York.
light, and
Contact
blessings.
us. All right.
Yeah.